This is an audio-only recording of an exercise session for Vision of Adventure. A cycling session led by Kath Finn. Please note that you will need some form of stationary bike with controllable resistance to participate in this session. Recorded in winter 2025.
So you've had 5 minutes of just kind of sitting there and pedaling easily. I don't want to frighten you too much, considering it's your first time back and all that. So we're now going to just do 6 minutes where things get a little bit harder every 2 minutes. So you want to hold the same consistent effort throughout the 2 minutes. So don't start off too hard and burn out. But by the end of 6 minutes, you do want to be feeling like it's a little bit hard. So we'll go. Sorry. Okay, we're going to start with our first 2 minutes. Now it's kind of up to you. You know you've got 3 steps. So choose wisely. You also know now you've got a 20-minute pyramid of effort level about 7 coming up later. So don't burn your boats now. And most of you, those who are outside, definitely will take quite a while to warm up in this. So again, don't push too hard. Those who are inside, your muscles will probably be warmer quicker. So it's not quite so serious. But we want that heart to just gradually get used to the idea it's working. Now you're halfway through your first little session. You've done a minute. And there is a swim stroke run weekend, not this weekend, but next weekend. I know Sue's coming. Oh, Emily's a bit of a, I can't see Emily's face. She's a bit of a swimmer, so I don't know whether she's, I think Emily is coming actually, I heard on the grapevine. I'm not sure about Liz. You can give me a thumbs up or, oh, we've got a sad face. No, Liz isn't coming to this one. And I'm not so used to seeing the rest of you in a swim mentality, so maybe not. There's nobody else going yes me. So there's 7, so I don't know who the other 5 are. Okay, you've got 10 seconds until you move into the next bit. 3, 2, 1. Right, you need a definite change of effort. You need to work a bit harder than you were in the last 2 minutes. But you also want to save something for the next bit. And I thought as I do this, I should go on one of the cycling weekends, the Vision of Adventure run. I tell you what, completely burnt me out. It took me a week of tapering beforehand, and then it took me 2 weeks to recover.
Audio now unmuted.
And Linda's just joined us.
No, I don't think so.
Well, I can hear you.
Yeah, but I can't hear well enough. I just tried to use my earpods and they're being a pain.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Anyway.
Okay, you've got another minute at this level.
Oh, well, you just carry on and I'll join in when I can. I need to put the laptop, maybe it might be over there. Just carry on anyway.
And now you've got half a minute. Brilliant. That looks quite consistent. Well done. And I can see that the effort is a bit harder. Now you're coming up to the bit where you find out whether you've overdone it or not. So you've got 5 seconds till you go for your next bit. 3, 2, 1. Now you have 2 minutes, which should be a steady, sustainable effort, but harder than the last 2. And there's definitely a bit of effort going on. Remember to try and keep your shoulders quite relaxed. Try and keep looking upwards. And the effort should be, the core should be on, and the effort is through the legs. We're not climbing anything horrendous. I've also joined Swift as part of my education. I very quickly learned I can't stand up and pedal really well on a turbo for longer than about 15 seconds. Definitely need some standy up leg work. Okay, you have just over a minute left to go. The arm warmers are off. All the garage people have still got their woolly fleeces on though. And I count you in that, Diane, because I think conservatories are also often pretty cold when the outside temperatures are like this. Yeah, I'm getting a big nod there. They are. Half a minute left. Yeah, I think my learning from the cycling weekend was I need to stick to swimming. Sue's going, no, and I'm going, oh yeah. Definitely. Okay, ease off. Take the pressure off. Have a drink. Settle down. We've got a minute or two easy now. And then you remember we used to do those really fast spin ups. So just 10 to 15 seconds of quite a high cadence. So very fast leg turning round. But also quite a lot of power. So like a bit of a hard effort spurt, but not for very long. And then a little rest in between, and then another. We're going to do 3 of those little spurts. And just 10 seconds. So not too much. Okay, doke. I'll give you another minute just easing along like this. Yep, we're looking good. And just stress, it is really important to warm up for stuff. And especially when the temperatures are this cold, your body, if you allow it time to warm up before you shock it, it will then reward you by not getting injured as much. And it will also make effort feel a bit easier. If you're trying to do stuff straight away, if I came in and said, right, 2 minutes in, you're all going to do an effort 7, 8 for 4 minutes, you would be so uncomfortable. Oh, you could try it next week if you want to experiment, but there's the odd little shake of a head. But yeah, you can seriously feel this difference of stress on your body as it's trying to do what you want, but it just doesn't find it very easy. So, okay. Are we ready to go? We're going to do 10 seconds of absolutely flat out. And I'll give you a 3, 2, 1 counting. And then we're going to do 50 seconds of easy pedaling and another 10 seconds. And we're going to do 3 10-second blasts. Okay, we're looking good. 3, 2, 1, go. 10 seconds. Give it all you've got. Lovely fast legs. Those are fantastic. Brilliant. I do so love your enthusiasm. and ease. So you've now got 45 seconds or so before we go again. And those legs were absolutely brilliant. Half a minute of just relaxing. Ten seconds to go. 5, 3, 2, 1, go. 10 seconds. Absolutely going for it. Lovely. Well done. And slow. Going to do one more. And you've got another 45 seconds of easy. That's looking good. 20 seconds of chilling. Ten seconds. 3, 2, 1, go. Last effort of flat out. And ease. Well done. Wonderful. And you're over a quarter of a way through the whole night. So that's all still counted as warm-up, and that is probably the hardest 10 seconds of the whole night. But it is just giving your neuro system a bit of a, right, come on, you can do this, wakey, wakey. And it's really good to hit that top end, not often, just occasionally for a really short period. So we're going to just think about rate of perceived effort. So if you hear on a podcast or anything, RPE, it stands for rate of perceived effort. It's usually out of 10. And a lot of the work that you should do, and probably don't, should be in the kind of 4-5 area. There's a bit of, oh, really? And that means that you can chat easily. And that is a really good zone to be in for, at least 80% of the sessions that you do should be around in that area. So if you are doing these classes and you're not balancing it, if you're doing 2 or 3 spin classes a week and not balancing it with some general easy riding, then you're doing probably too much hard stuff to get the most benefits from it. And when we say easy riding, it's the type of stuff that you're like, it's not really worth getting on the bike for this. I can't be bothered. I feel like I haven't done anything. So if you can just get on your bikes at home and do half an hour or an hour of easy pedaling, listening to a podcast or music, chatting to a friend, that is really, really valuable time to balance out the harder stuff. And in terms of fitness, it does a lot of useful things. And I'm just giving you that time now. It's our first week back, so we're not doing too hard. So it builds your capillary network. So it builds more capillaries to take more blood to the muscles. That means that the muscles get more oxygen. The muscles need oxygen in order to be able to work. So you're building your capacity. It also increases the number of mitochondria, which are the little, they're not even cells, they're so tiny, but they create energy. So you've got more energy creation capability. It also preserves your immune system. If you spend a lot of time working really hard, that's quite stressful, particularly at the time when there's lots of coughs and colds and flus going around. This is a good time of year to make sure that you do quite a lot of the easier stuff, and it helps your consistency, because if you do hard stuff, that takes much longer to recover from. So your neuromuscular patterning isn't getting as much consistent input as it could. Possibly, because possibly some of you don't look at your bike in the evening and go, oh, I'll just hop on that and do 40 minutes easy. So it's worth being really conscious of all the benefits that training brings, even though you feel like it's not really doing much. And it's really good for injury prevention. It keeps the chemical balances in your body pretty stable. So, and while we've been doing that, hopefully most of you have been pedaling along at that kind of pace. Huge extra capacity that you could be using, you haven't been using. And that's really good. It's good to use that. I don't want to spend the whole night doing that though. So the next kind of really useful bit is probably level about 7 out of 10. Now that's probably where you were for some of the 2-minute bits to warm up. It should be, I've heard it described as comfortably uncomfortable. And you shouldn't be able to talk in full sentences anymore. Should be a bit of a struggle to get your words out. Technically, you should be able to hold that for an hour. But most people, if we're being realistic, can't. Maybe 40 minutes, if you're absolutely going for it. So it is quite hard work, but it's not completely bottoming you. And then the next kind of big jump is up to kind of level 9, 10, which is probably where you were for those really fast sprints. You know, if I said to you, work that hard for 30 seconds, you actually probably would have really struggled, because you get to the end of 10 seconds and that initial energy burst, the system you use is actually depleted. And I will do 15 next week and you'll see the difference. There's a real sudden drop off. So there's very distinct areas depending which physiological system you're trying to work. This week, we're going to work mainly the 7-8 threshold area. So, and I'll talk a bit more about them at a different time. But we're going to do what we've listened to, because then that will be kinesthetic learning, so you get to feel it, as well as audio learning, you get to hear it. And I know lots of you have done this before, but it's always, I think, good to go over a bit of stuff. So we're going to do 1 minute of that nice zone. 4, you could chat to me. 4 out of 10, no sweat. And then we're going to do 2 minutes of that pretty uncomfortable. And then we're going to do 15 seconds of the, oh my God, she's trying to kill me. We'll go for that kind of scenario. So off we go. We're just going to do a minute, probably at the pace that you are at the moment. Nice and easy. We still want that quite nice cadence, and I'll do some cadence reminder stuff next week. Because, again, it's always good. And it doesn't matter, you guys are really experienced cyclists, a lot of you, but still that variation in cadence and that mindfulness about it is good. And you also sometimes don't have control over your cadence, depending what your pilot's doing. So it can be harder. And I know as I've got older, it takes me longer for my cadence to pick up. Naturally, it's a real effort to force it immediately. I usually start now at about 70, 80, and by the time I've ridden for 10 minutes or so, I'm like, oh yeah, 85, 90 is comfortable. Right, we want to go up into that 7, 8 out of 10 feeling. So stick it up a little bit. And we want to be comfortably uncomfortable. which is a brilliant saying. So now you would struggle to have a full conversation and tell me about your summer cycling. And here there's a lactate threshold. There's 2 lactate thresholds that act in the body. There's one around the 4-5 effort level where we were. That's lactate threshold 1. We produce lactate all the time. The lactate we produce then is produced in such a small amount, like 2 millimoles per litre or something like that, that the body can reabsorb it and it turns it back into usable energy. Then when we get to this level, which is lactate threshold 2, we get to the point where after a certain amount of time, 40 minutes, that golden hour, the body can no longer absorb it and recycle it. So at that point, the hydrogen ions build up so much that you can't continue to cycle at that pace, and you have to stop. So those are 2 really significant physiological points. And we've only got 15 seconds, and then we want that little 15-second burst where you're working kind of pretty hard. You've got 10 seconds to go, and I'll give you the 3, 2, 1 again. 5, 3, 2, 1, go. Ten seconds, keep going. And 15, relax. Could you keep the same for the whole 15, or did you kind of get to 10-ish and start feeling, oof, that's right? Thumbs up if you could keep going for the whole 15 and feel exactly the same. Yeah, there's a few. Thumbs up now if you've got to kind of 10-ish and started going, oof, actually, that's a bit hard. Yeah. So we've got a 50-50 split, actually. So well done to the 50 that have just put your thumbs up, because that meant that you were really working into the area where your energy just burns like that and there's nothing left very quickly. So ace. Right. We're now going to do a little bit of that level, effort level 7, lactate threshold 2, and we're not going to do it for 20 minutes constantly. So you're not going to completely explode. You should be able to keep going. Get yourselves a drink if you need it. And we're going to do a little pyramid. So we'll do 1 minute on, 30 seconds off, 2 minutes on, 1 minute off, 3 minutes on, 1 minute off, maybe 4 minutes on, 1 minute off. Then we'll come back down. So it's quite a significant block of work. Okay. We're all ready to go. Help if I turn the timer on. 3, 2, 1, off you go. A minute at effort level 7, 8. You'll do a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 minutes at this kind of level, if that gives you a little bit to help you judge your pace. So this one shouldn't feel too bad, but you do want a bit of effort application. We've only got 10 seconds left. Lovely. Right. I did say 30 seconds, but I'm going to give you a minute or my timing is going to get really awkward. So you've got a minute easy, anything for an easy life at this end. I'm very easily confused. So make the most of it. Some of you are celebrating, some of you are drinking. Breathe deep, get yourself settled, try and get your heart rate to come down a little bit. Make sure you breathe through using your diaphragm so your stomach is distending and coming in again. You're not just breathing up high in your shoulders. Your whole rib cage is involved. And if you can manage to do a couple of big breaths through your nose, that will settle down. It's the parasympathetic nervous system. It will calm you a little bit. And we should be ready to go. 3, 2, 1. And now we have 2 minutes. God, I feel like I've never been away. Although I have lived a whole life this summer in the meantime. And it's been a good one. I've kept bashing myself up a little bit, but in amongst that. I raced me little socks off because Paddy's turning 70 in March, and he said, I want to qualify for everything so that I can go to as many world and European events. And then we've got the choice and I can try and get on the podium when I'm 70. As a result, between us, we've got something like 40, and he's gone, well, I'm just going to go to all of them then. So we will modify that slightly because otherwise we'll be bankrupt. But we're going to have a good, hopefully, we've had a great year this year with lots of adventures and different things and lots of experiences of doing different distances and different types of races. And next year, we're going to be a little bit more targeted. You've got half a minute, a bit less. Ten seconds. Emily's just sent me a big heart. I don't know how she's done that. 3, 2, 1. And you've got your minute rest. Thank you, Emily. I did have a go at mountain bike marathons. My first one wasn't hugely successful. I had a big argument with a tree stump. Got very sore ribs. And that was 3 weeks before I went to race in Spain. So I couldn't swim before I raced in Spain. I turned up and it was a non-wetsuit swim. And I'm just like, oh no, my ribs are so vulnerable. What do you mean I can't wear my wetsuit? So good piece of tape and some ibuprofen. They didn't like it much, but they survived. So now we're going to go 3, 2, 1. And you've got 3 minutes. So there should have been a big difference there between one and the other. 8. They did heal. They behaved quite well, 2 weeks after I'd finished racing. And I didn't get them x-rayed, so I don't know if I actually broke them or not. And then I stubbed my toe on my middle distance race getting out the swim, but it was so cold I couldn't feel it. And then I got on the run and I was like, my toe really hurts. So the quicker I get to the end of this run, the quicker I can stop putting weight on it. And then took it off and the whole toe is like completely black. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And I did take that one to A&E. And they went, well, it's actually not broken, but it looks really sore. but you've got other bits in your foot. What have you done before? I dropped a glass a year ago on it, and they went, yeah, you've still got a glass in there. There's all these little bits here. So that was exciting. And then because I'd hurt my toe and couldn't bend my foot properly, I then got a pulled calf because I was hopping on it. But all is well. And if you do mountain biking as a really old woman, there's nobody else in your class. That's an advantage. So you come home feeling like you've done really well if you manage to finish. Okay, you are in your last minute of this one, so you're doing really well. I can see some effort. I think all Esther's work on the velodrome's paying off. She's looking great. Molly's got a snazzy new bike, and I think the others are on what? Oh, I can't see actually. Esther also has, compared to the bike she started on, has a snazzy new bike. Okay, 3, 2, 1. And you've got your minute, relax. Well done. Right, you're going into the last bit of the longest bit. Sorry, not your last bit, your longest bit. So make the most of this little rest because you've then got 4 minutes. I've got a lovely heated poncho on, but it doesn't heat my toes. That's the only disadvantage. And I couldn't ride and maintain enough mental capacity to do the timings. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Back to your level 7. 4 minutes worth. Which hopefully will fly, but it should feel like it is a bit of a grunt. Remember, you still want quite a reasonable cadence, but there wants to be quite a firm resistance. Oh, I think we might be having a wave from Diane. She has to go and do meetingy things. Lovely to see you. Hopefully you'll be back. You'll be back next week. Yeah, that would be lovely. And in between, get some nice, easy stuff. It's the biggest discussion I have with my clients about why they should do lots of easy stuff, as they repeatedly turn in stuff that's too difficult. I'm going, I only said 40 minutes easy pedaling. You've done an hour and a half and 20% of that was hard. What are you doing? I don't usually say it quite like that. Otherwise, they might not stay with me for too long, but it's definitely what I'm thinking. Nice work. You've got 2 more minutes, so you're halfway through. Now, dig in, keep a really good cadence, strong posture. Really use your lungs and your diaphragm. Lots of power through your legs. And I've piloted Sue. There is a lot of power in these legs. Looking good. You've got just over a minute left. That wasn't too bad. Haven't quite finished yet, but you know what I mean. And it's hard because you never get a rest on a static, and your bum never gets a particular change of position unless you stand up in the rest. Okay, last 45 seconds. Hold on to it well. Half a minute. Well done. 3, 2, 1. And take your minute's rest. Nice job. And then we're starting to work down. So we've got 3 minutes is the next one coming up. And we've got extra people in the house because, surprise, surprise, the weather's got cold. And my son and his partner, who are van dwelling, have gone, it's really cold. But I think they have found a house for January that they're going to rent. And to be fair, but neither of them are that well at the minute. If it was race season, we probably wouldn't let them in because we're mean. Okay, we've got 5 seconds left. 3, 2, 1. 3 minutes. Yeah, they've lived in it since May. I think he got it ready. So done pretty well. I think they've also just realized that somebody actually looks at the security cameras and where they decided to park. And that somebody lives literally just down our road, like about 300 yards. And the thought of them watching them when there are no loos available has probably become slightly too much. I did forget this was going out on record, but never mind. Hopefully it'll make somebody else laugh as well. Yeah, it's very nice to have them around. Very lovely. We're doing well. We're very lucky. Children seem to have really nice partners who suit them. Now you're about halfway through this one. And considering he'd never done any DIY and he bought an old British Telecom van and had to take everything out of it, all the shelving and storage and stuff. And then he's insulated it all, panelled it, put in a bed frame, put in a cooker stand and a sink and cut holes in the kitchen worktop for a little sink and everything. He's done really, really well. It looks really nice. It's just getting a touch chilly. Okay, you've got 1 more minute left. And you should be working as hard as you were in your very first minute. So just do a bit of a check-in with yourself about whether this is possible. Because this is what happens if you go on like long rides, you get a bit carried away to start with, and then if you've judged it wrong, by the time you get to the end, you're absolutely dying. Oh, also, if you haven't eaten enough on long rides. Somebody did say they were really, really exhausted and they were really sorry because they couldn't stoke me very well. I was like, all right, just sit there. A can of Coke, a packet of Haribo's later. We were flying. 3, 2, 1. Well done. Minute easy. Okay, you've only got a 2 minute and a 1 minute to do. So you don't even need to make the most of your rest. It's so simple, the last little bit. Done the hard bit, down the other side. And we're going again in 10. 3, 2, 1. Off you go. So this is 2 minutes. So you're almost at the end. So you owe it to yourself to keep that level of work and commitment. Quarter of the way through. Nice one. Do remember, if you come on and you're really tired or you've been ill, you can always come on and just work really easily. You don't have to come on and work as hard as I'm suggesting. So don't feel that you're tied to this. However, if you're in good form and healthy, okay, you're going into your last 30 seconds. Oh, I just thought about the wedding we went to at the weekend. It was amazing. Unbelievable. I am unlikely to ever see anything like that again. Okay. Well done. Ease. You've got a minute off and then you've got 1 more minute of hard. Yeah, people used to live about 3 fields away and their kids went to primary school with our kids. And then they moved to the States and we haven't gone and seen them or anything, but they've popped in when they've been over. And one of their daughters got married and invited us. And the wedding was on the banks of Windermere. So most of the guests had flown from the States. They'd paid for most of the accommodation. They did a 4-night party, which we went to the wedding day, not the rest of it. But they had already done a cocktail night, a James Bond night. Then there was the wedding. And then in the morning, there was the breakfast do. Just beyond the pale. Okay, last minute. 3, 2, 1, and go. good efforts. So while you're doing these amazing hard blast, really meaningful effort, the roses were out of this world. And they were like a satiny, dusky pink that I didn't even think you could get. I was like, those have got to be fake. And I smelt them. They're not fake. They were absolutely beautiful. There were 3 photographers, a singer, live singer, an illustrator. We got fed little snacky things. 3, 2, 1. And have a minute relaxing while I tell you the rest of it. We had a 3-course meal at 5 o'clock, which worked perfectly. It just kind of, the whole day just flowed. And that was delicious. They were serving 80 and the food was amazing. And then later on in the evening, as we were discoing the night away, we got little takeaway, like little mini fish and chips. And then we got churros, those kind of battery things with chocolate. Oh, magic. We don't drink, but there was a fair amount of drink flying around. And it was just gorgeous. The speeches made everybody cry. I have never seen so many people cry at wedding speeches in my life. Very sadly, their mum died about 7 years ago. So when they were late teenage, maybe mid-teenager, from breast cancer. And obviously they were remembering her in the day. But even the father of the groom was the first person to speak, and he started it. He was in floods, and then the rest of us followed. So it was really nice. It was also long dress. And I was like, long dress, black tie, 2 o'clock in the afternoon? That's weird. Apparently it's very American, but people looked amazing. And the long dress that I last wore 13 years ago, because it came out on my Facebook timeline today, still fits. So that's good. I think my shoulders, I have more muscle, which again, for a 60-year-old woman, I have more muscle than I had 13 years ago on my back. So that's a victory. Right. I hope we're all feeling like we've actually done some work, and we're feeling like we've now had a chance to recover a little bit. We're not going to do anything else hard work because we've got 8 minutes and that would be mean. But we will just do a tiny bit on pedaling technique because it's always really good to revisit it. Anyone whose bottom is too sore through lack of practice at sitting on these is very welcome to slide sideways, and we'll see you next week. But if you want to stand up and move around and shake yourself out a bit, that's a good idea. And then we'll just do a little bit remembering about the important bits of the pedal stroke. So when you think about your right leg, and what we want is to start putting power on as early as we possibly can. So as the right leg is coming up to the top position where your knee is nearest your head, you want to be thinking about pushing forwards and down so that you get power on as early as you possibly can. So we'll just think about that for a little bit. I'll go to the bottom. So right leg in your head, going to do a minute, and we're going to start in 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Same pace, doesn't matter. You might want a little bit more resistance so you can really feel it. Slow the cadence down, if anything, so you're really getting the feel for it. So you pushing it as soon as you can get a downward momentum on it, you're putting that down. Because quite often people don't get power on properly until between 2 and 3 o'clock, like they're halfway down the pedal stroke. So we're thinking about it coming on really high up. Okay, it's a right leg fixation. And yes, I do this kind of stuff. Right. Just have a normal pedal for 30 seconds or a minute or so, and then we'll do the left one. And this is the time of year that I'll sit on a bike and think about similar things. I've got a set of rollers which are very cheap but pretty lethal. You have to try and balance between a table and a wall or something so you don't fall off. But they're really good for your pedaling action. I think Sue's just been on a treasure hunt for her earbuds. Yeah, one's fallen out. She's been grubbing around on the floor for it. Okay, we're going to think left leg this time. Now we're going to do a happy minute. On your left leg, you might as well go 3, 2, 1, go. Thinking about left leg pushing forward as it's coming to the top of the stroke. So thinking about that power. Pushing forwards and down, almost like kicking into snow or kicking a door. Kicking into a steep slope of snow to make a foothold is probably the best analogy because you want to be forwards and down. Oh, somebody's disappeared. I think Sue's magicked herself off the screen. That's nice. I like it. I can see the concentration on one leg going on from some of you. And relax. Okay. Right, we've done just about an hour. We've got a couple of minutes. We obviously, like all good people, need a little while cooling down, allowing our body to come back into homeostasis, heart rate to reduce, blood to do its job at taking all the waste products away and sorting them all out. And that your mind also, if it's been thinking a bit, calms down and has less stress around trying to make your body go harder. So I'm going to turn the recording off, but if you are listening on record, then please make sure that you spend another 5 minutes now just turning your pedals over nice and easily. And hopefully see you next time. Bye for now.